And there's more breaking news, this time on that truck driver who was sentenced to 110 years in prison for a deadly highway crash. Colorado's governor has commuted Rogelio Aguilera Mederos' sentence to 10 years. He was convicted on 27 charges for a fiery crash that killed 4 people in 2019. A petition calling for clemency was signed by more than 5 million people. NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos joins us now to talk a little bit more about this reduced sentence. Danny, so we were looking at a 110-year sentence for this crash that just came down about 2 weeks ago. The DA there in Colorado had said that had requested a resentencing hearing. That was on the calendar. How unusual is it that the decision for clemency came so quickly and that the sentence was reduced by so much, from basically life in prison to 10 years?
So unusual that we're not likely to see anything like this again. But then again, this is an unusual situation. You have a weird combination of mandatory minimum sentences that led to this completely bizarre, unexpected result that is uncommon. But as a defense attorney, that's exactly the problem with mandatory minimums, is that they take the power away from the judge, who should have the power to sentence, and they give that power almost exclusively to the prosecutor. A little too much power in the prosecutor's hand. The reason this happened so quickly is that it was so apparently a sentence that was beyond the pale for sentences for conduct of this type, especially given the facts and circumstances. Of course, a tragic crash, tragic result, but this sentence, 110 years, was not within the heartland of similar sentences.
So, Danny, we saw the governor get ahead of the legal process in a lot of ways before the appeal, before this resentencing hearing. We also saw the defendant here, that young man, openly sobbing in court when the sentence was handed down. That went viral. People online were talking about it all over the country. As you said, the judge admitted that his hands were tied with the mandatory minimum sentence laws. We saw the online petition for clemency getting more than 5 million signatures. Truckers also, got on the road and protested that sentence. Do you think this commutation was about public pressure, or was it about the sentencing laws being so messed up?
Yeah. Realistically, all commutations, all pardons, all grants of clemency are essentially at their core political in nature. That's because governors and presidents receive so many requests for pardons and commutations that only a tiny fraction are actually considered. In the federal system, it's by the Pardon Office, which looks at the entire file. But as we know also, governors and presidents often pardon political allies, people that they have that they know will advance them politically. And of course, they pardon people who will damage them politically. And that's why they do it typically on their last day in office, where they have the least political exposure. So pardons have been political since they came over from England on the boat. They've always been that way. And so they will continue to be that way. They really are such a rare part of the criminal defense practice that I don't even know anyone who practices pardon law. That's how rare it is.
All right, NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos with us.